What's going on, family? At work? What's going on? I thought I might share something real quick. You know what I mean? Somebody, different race. It's cool. Somebody from a different race is like, oh, I just seen your brother the other day. It's another black dude that used to work there, but he don't work there no more. So I'm like, oh, he my brother because we black? He, trying to climb. But I was like, nah, my brother is the one that do the will of God, right? So, you know what I'm saying? My family is the one that do the will of God. Yes, I have a physical family here on this earth. Yes, that's true. But, taking this spiritual journey, you know what I'm saying, especially when you put in this targeted program, you have to have a loving and kind heart, but you can't be a doormat. You can't be a carpet. You can't be something that people can just walk on. You know what I'm saying? You can't be a stepping stone, Sometimes you have to love people from a distance. You know what I mean? You could forgive a person, yes, and taking the walk in the road of Christ and with God, you know what I'm saying? In order for him to forgive you, you have to forgive others. You know what I'm saying? So in order for God to forgive you, you have to forgive others. And the thing about it is people don't know what it means to forgive. In your heart, you know what I mean? You get rid of that darkness that they traumatized you with. That's what it means to forgive. You release that darkness that they traumatized you with. You don't hold it against them. You don't hold that darkness against them. And what you do, you don't open the door for them to traumatize you again. You don't open the door for them to attack you again. You basically, you know what I'm saying? You kind of close that door. You know what I mean? You close that door. That's the thing about it. You got to guard your heart at times, but you got to open and you got to do God's will too. But you still got to guard your heart. If you're around people that you know will take advantage, or you know that is trying to do some type of attack on you, you know what I'm saying? It's a certain way that you're supposed to love that person. It's a certain way that you're supposed to go about things. You can't go about things aggressive. You can't go about things with a bitter heart. People that have bitter hearts are people that are miserable, even in the church walls. These are people that have not forgiven. And remember, you know what I'm saying, if you haven't forgave, God can't forgive you. You know what I'm saying? You got to rid yourself from that darkness or whatever somebody inflicted on you, but that doesn't mean you open the door for them to inflict that darkness again. You know what I'm saying? You don't become a passive person because you're in the truth. You know what I'm saying? You don't become soft because you're in the truth and let people walk all over you and be like, oh, well, God's going to grant me heaven because I made myself a doormat to all mankind. That's not how it worked. That's not how Jesus was. The reason why Jesus went through what he went through is because it was already prophesied in the Old Testament. He was a walking, living truth of the old. Everything with the Old Testament basically was a testimony to Jesus' life. It was a testimony to Jesus' life. He just fulfilled our prophecies. And as far as being persecuted and things like that for the gospel, you know what I'm saying? Yes, we do have to take that path, but we don't have to become doormats. We don't have to become physically soft where people can do us how they want to do us. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know the Old Testament says an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. So you're not supposed to pay a person back with evil. You know what I mean? Christ said that, in the New Testament, in this new covenant, you're not supposed to pay a person back with evil. So we don't follow those Jewish laws of eye for eye, tooth for tooth, or the Muslim laws of eye for eye and a tooth for tooth, because the Lord says vengeance is mine. But just because we don't follow those laws, we don't continue to allow people to harm and hurt us. That's not the point. The point is we don't want to open the door for people to continue to harm and hurt you. So sometimes you gotta love a person for a distance. Yes, do you pray for enemies? Yeah. You're not supposed to pray witchcraft on the enemy, pray your enemy's demise and things like that. That's not for you to pray about. That's for God. That's for you to take. You just pray that you be strong through the midst of your enemies and things like that and the snares that they have entrapped on you. You know what I'm saying? It's for God to do the punishment. It's not for you to do no type of punishment. You just living this thing. You just rocking this thing out. You know what I'm saying? people gonna be who they be. You know what I mean? Because like I said in my other video, it's the flesh versus spirit, and that goes for every human being. You know what I mean? So it's just like, boom, you gotta forgive people, you gotta pray for your enemies, and you gotta keep rocking this thing out. You can't go to sleep angry. You gotta be slow to anger. You gotta be slow to anger. So it's just like, yeah, as I rock out my days here, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to kiss people's behinds. I don't have to sit there and befriend people. Like I said, my sisters and brothers are those who do the will. You get what I'm saying? But for people, you have to have a certain amount of respect. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to have no bitter will against a person, but you don't want to open yourself up for them to traumatize you again at the same time. So you have to have discernment where you don't want to be bitter and miserable towards people and a certain type of hatred in your heart towards people, but you also want to guard your heart so that people can't come in and attack it. Because people know, oh, now that you following God's route, oh, now you have to forgive us. You have to let us in. You knock, knock. You have to befriend us. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case at all. You don't have to befriend these people. You befriend those who do the will of God. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You have a discernment. You know in your heart who are good people, and you know in your heart who are bad people. But those you see are bad people, you still not supposed to have hatred. Yeah, like you hate what they do. You hate their deeds. You don't hate the person. You hate their wicked deeds. But you don't hate the person. You leave that vengeance up to God. You have no hatred in your heart, but you keep a distance from that. You know what I'm saying? You have to have that discernment to know who to keep a distance from, you know what I'm saying, and who to open your heart to. You know what I mean? Because people done traumatize you. You make sure you don't open your heart for them to do it again. You just relieve yourself from that trauma, from that hatred, from that bitterness. You know what I'm saying? You have to relieve yourself. And in that way God can forgive you for the traumas that you placed upon people and the evil that you have done. You know what I mean? It's not the people, it's the deeds. And with that being said, I got to get back to work. Peace.